Well, I'm back in my shop. That's the motor I was gonna put on my Hobie Outback. At the last minute I changed my mind. What I've got here, 2-inch insulation foam, XPS. Just picked up from Home Depot, got 3 sheets of it. I don't think I'm gonna need but 2, but I bought 3 sheets. I'd rather have too much than not enough. I'm gonna build a kayak. And instead of a regular fiberglass, I'm gonna keep it cheap and simple and use this poor man's fiberglass, which is tight bond glue. And you can use bed sheets or whatever. This is this little sample I did was painter's drop cloth from either Lowe's or Home Depot, one of the two. This is what it looks like. And you saturate it with the tight bond onto the fiberglass, glues it on, and then you paint over it with a good paint. So I'm just getting ready to cut this piece in half, and I said, well, I need to let you know what's going on, and I'm gonna make some videos as I go. I'm gonna cut this in half and then take half of this and glue it onto a whole sheet to give me a 12 foot. I'm gonna make it 12 feet by 36 inches. I think the Hobie Outback's 30, 33, 34, 32, somewhere along in there, by 12. I was gonna go 39 inches. And a couple of guys on the internet, on YouTube, said when they get that big, you can't really paddle them. So, said anything over 36 is kind of a pain to paddle. So now I'm gonna keep it at 36. I'm just gonna use it in the pond anyway. I'm not gonna take this to the marsh because with this finish on it, it won't be tough enough to stand up to the oyster beds. And one time running over that, and I'd have a mess. So this is just basically for the pond behind the house and the other little freshwater areas. I might take it down to the marsh one time just to try it, but I wouldn't do it for one time, just play in it at high tide just for the heck of it. So I'm gonna start cutting this, and when I get ready to glue it up, I'll show you that left part and kind of put all this together. So if anybody wants to look at what I'm gonna do, you can go on YouTube and look up battle yak and wolf yak, all one word on both of them, and that'll bring up the 2 guys that's got the most popular ones on YouTube. And the battle yak looks really nice. Well, so does the wolf yak. Both of them look really nice. So mine's gonna probably fall below both of those since this will be my first one, but we'll see how it's gonna do. Well, I glued up my 2 pieces of foam board with the Gorilla Glue. I just took the weights off of it, scraping off where the Gorilla Glue foams up. They got scraped that off, and I come back and sand over it if I need to. But you want a rough surface anyway when you glue all this stuff up, so it doesn't really matter. Just get the big stuff off. And I've decided, instead of making a 12 foot kayak, I'm gonna do a 10 footer. It'll probably be about 10'6". And got a brand new quarter cable belt sander. I let my daughter borrow my other one, and she was doing a project on her back deck, so I loaned it to her, and she ended up dropping it and breaking it, so she went and bought me a brand new one. Told her she didn't have to, but got me a brand new belt sander now, so that'll come in handy when I go to shape this. And I'll take some more video when I get to the next step. Try not to show too much of my junky shop. All I did is cleaned up enough area to put this little table up here, and that's about it. I'm getting ready to, I'm gonna flip it over to the plain side and mark out my measurement lines and get all that laid out, and then I'll make a little quick video of that. Well, out here on the ground is what's going to be the base of the floor of the 10 feet. I think it ended up being 10 feet 7 inches or 10 feet 8 inches. Somewhere in that neighborhood. Of course, that's before I sand it all up. That's going to be the base. Here I'm cutting out my ribs, making them 4.5 inches wide. And I got the basic shape. You mark out 4.5, whatever width you want. I did 4.5 and took the base of my boat and laid on here and marked it, cut out one and measured over and did it. Then I used one of these for a pattern. So I've got 2, 3, 4 of them cut out so far. I need 2 more, I think. I'll put 2 on each side, so I'll give it a 6-inch height from the base up. I'm gonna stack it down and see. I may go 1 more extra row, but I'm not sure. And that'll leave me enough left over here to put my 2 runners. I'll make a catamaran style, kind of like the Bonafide kayaks. And so that'll give me my bottom part. So it'll actually end up being, let's see, 1, 2, 5 layers, about 10 inches deep. But I may go 12 inches. I'm not sure yet. I got to see how it's going to look. But so I'll cut out a couple more. Then I'll kind of mock it up a little bit. And then I'll turn this back on and let you see what that's looking like. But that's what I'm doing so far. And the way I'm cutting these out is with my regular little jigsaw with a smooth cutting wood blade in it. And it ends up giving it a smooth finish. It's not real jagged. Makes a good cut. Very little sanding needed, but it needs to be roughed up anyway when you go to glue it. But with this, it's going to be sanded on the outside to get the shape. So that really doesn't matter, but it makes it good, quick, fast cut. It'll cut faster than I can stay straight, so you have to be careful with it. But that's how it's working. So let me get all these cut out and get some of them set up on the dry fitted onto the base out there. Then I'll show you what it's going to look like as it starts taking shape. Well, I've got my ribs. I just got through gluing them up with the Gorilla Glue. Got the weight set on it to hold it down. The one rick up I've seen so far, if I would have thought in advance and thought this thing through a little bit, I could save myself a lot of work in the long run. If you notice on the stern and on the bow, the centers are flush up and down. But here, they set out about 3/4 of an inch, a step out each way, so that it'll give the boat kind of a taper like a regular boat on both ends. But if I would have thought about it ahead of time, I could have just set a angle cut in my jigsaw when I cut it and just cut a slant in it, and it would all lined up nice and even, and it would make it a whole lot easier on me. But it's too late now. I didn't think about it till after I started gluing these things down and started looking at it, and I thought, darn, why didn't I just cut an angle in it as I was cutting them out? You know, just set the 5, 10 degree, whatever it is there, and everything, I could just line the edges up, and it would have been all pretty and easy to sand and get ready. So now I got a lot of extra work to do to get it halfway right. But that's my biggest screw up so far. So after this glues up, I get on my next step, and then we'll make another little quick video. That's about it. Well, I've got part of it glued together. I've got 6 inches of runners on the sides, 3 on each side. I've been playing with it a little bit. Started trying to shape the nose of it some. I'm just playing. I still got a lot of work to do to it. I did notice that if I would have done like I said and cut these at an angle instead of cutting them straight, I could have eliminated all this sanding I'm having to do to contour it here, because it's got a step out from the front and the back. and then the side is straight. Then it contours out. I'll say if I would have cut the angle in this when I cut the ribs out, if I'd have cut that angle in the ribs, all these would have been straight lined up against each other, and it would have looked really pretty and saved a whole lot of work. So if and when I build the next one, I will do it that way. This is a lot of fun, so I know I'll probably build something else just for the heck of it. But it's lightweight. That's one hand, there you go. I didn't measure it, but I think it's 10 feet, 8 inches or something like that. I don't really know what it ended up being. Well, to the bottom right there is 10.6. Oh, 11.2 all the way out here to the front. So, but here's where I had it at 10.6. That's where the bottom was. But because of the way the ribs are done, uh-oh, that didn't work. The way the ribs are, that brought it out to give it a pointed nose to it here. But that'll be it till I get something else done tomorrow. And the next day, get some shaping on it. I got some more here, so I'm going to put 2 runners down each side and V them off, shape them up, and one down the center. I looked at the Bonafide 127 and the 107 yesterday over town, and because they're so stable, and this is such a short boat compared to my hobie, that I'm going to put those runners and kind of design it after the Bonafide kayak. The guy at the kayak shop said they carry Hobie, Bonafide, and Native, and some of the cheaper brands. But he said the number one selling right now is the Bonafide, and the 127. So that's kind of what I'm copying. And so I'll put this together, and this will be my day one, I guess I'll call it, of my kayak build. So we'll see what we do next.